Welcome back to the Introvert Marketer Podcast. Since 2022, I have been your introverted host, Tiffany Garside, international copywriter, marketing strategist, and mentor to businesses that need to sell high ticket so that they can live anywhere they want in the world. Now, most people believe that their business is not growing because they need a better strategy, a better funnel, a niche system, a new program. But introverted entrepreneurs, we almost never have strategy problems because we're so analytical. We're constantly overthinking, constantly having ideas, constantly brainstorming. I know something that I love about my business is that through the years, I constantly create curriculum and courses that are not always public facing, but when I'm ready to come out with another program or update curriculum, like Black Educators Amplified, update a course, then I already have all of that information available. But the area that we do have problems is typically going to be a nervous system issue. And it reflects in your email copy and your website copy and your social media copy and all the copy that you produce, anything that you're putting out there into the world. It will start to feel confused, dismantled, diluted even. It won't feel as potent as it used to. And that's a good signal that it's time to bring in a marketing director. It's time to get some additional help because you do not have to be a one man or one woman show. You do not have to only invest in things that do not drive the needle in your business when your message and your positioning are the two things that directly correlate to sales in your business. Without the right product marketing, without the right brand positioning, without empathizing with your audience, then obviously your audience will stop listening to you, unfortunately. This is why my agency clients pay anywhere from $20,000 per year to $55,000 per year, upwards to $120,000 to work with me in a corporate private setting. Now, I'm gonna break down exactly the strategies to you that I use with them because you also deserve the Introvert Marketer Goodness by Tiffany G. Wrights. This is the same process that has helped my clients get 27.9 million. Now we're looking closer to 31.2 million. Based on 2025 numbers. But this is the same process that has helped my clients collectively make that amount of money without me having to go to 50,000 networking events. Again, I started my business when I was a mom with my third baby, literally breastfeeding. I did not go to networking events. I've literally been to one networking event my entire 9-year career. I sell corporate clients literally on LinkedIn, Instagram, and my email list. And that's it. Those are the main places I show up, as well as here on YouTube. I close corporate clients on YouTube as well because you never know who's watching and listening. It's easier than it looks, but it's a quiet approach. It's an approach that extroverts may not really like. It's an approach that people who crave attention may not really like, but it's a very profitable, simple, easy approach. It's almost too easy where you can sit on your laptop 4 hours a day, still pick your children up from school or still go on an adventure and travel or do whatever needs to be done, because that's the level of business that you want to have. The beautiful thing about starting a business and being in business is that you get to run it the way you want to an extent based on the economy and based on what your clients' needs are, but you get to run it in a way that feels good to your nervous system, to your immune system, and to your family, because you built your business for your family and for your legacy. You didn't build your family for your business, you know what I'm saying? Like, you built it not to be strapped down to a computer like you were in corporate America. And whenever I hear people that say like, oh, in business, you're gonna have to work 60 hours a week. As an introvert entrepreneur, I just have no idea what these people are doing, to be quite honest. I just don't know. It could be busy work, maybe they're just like being hawks over their people that they've hired. Me personally, I don't take that approach. We have an asynchronous workflow with our contractors, and it works out fabulously because we have excellent written communications. And then with our clients, some are asynchronous and then some hop on calls once a month. It just depends on the client and what their needs are. But it's not this overly having to work 60 hours a week for a full-time job type of business. I'm not sure why businesses have to do that unless it's like a restaurant. Obviously you'd have to, or something that's more brick and mortar. But if it's an online service-based business, you're selling a high ticket service, a consulting service, typically you're not going to have to do that if you're doing your marketing right. Now, I also don't run Facebook ads for my own brand, but I have clients who run Facebook ads, and those Facebook ads mean that they don't have to be going door to door. They don't have to go to networking events. Like, none of my clients, I won't say none, maybe like one or two that I can think about right now do networking events. But for the most part, my clients don't do networking events. They're either running ads, they're hosting a podcast, or they're just doing organic marketing and growing their brand. Like, it's one of those three things. So that's how they're bringing in leads. That's how they're growing their business without having to go to any networking event. Because here's the issue. When you do these random things to grow your business, you meet random people. Now, if you know anything about running ads, writing ads, I've written so many ads in my time, I can't even count. But the beautiful thing is it's very targeted. So your message goes to the exact person that is primed or most likely to be wanting your service based on what they search for or whatever data Facebook has on them. Same thing with organic marketing, using hashtags, SEO, your blog. You can do the same thing without paying for ads, right? And so that's where it's a totally different business strategy than what you may find with people who like to do a lot of networking and stuff like that. But if you're listening to the podcast, chances are you do not want to do 50 million networking events, but you do want to be profitable. You want to sell your high ticket service. You want to sell your consulting offer. You may be a lawyer. You may be a CPA. We work with lawyers and CPAs pretty often. And so you need your content to just stick and hit and get through to the people, not doing all of these vast things, not going place to place, wasting time. You are somebody that is very excellent at what you do. You're a high caliber expert, and that expertise has to be focused in your marketing strategy. And so, listen, let's talk about this, because your emails will only convert. And it can also have to do with your website. I don't know when the last time you updated your website copy. I just did mine this year. I keep my website copy updated because the times are changing so quickly. But your emails will only convert at the level your nervous system is regulated, meaning if you want to make more money in your business, the ceiling could be an issue within your nervous system where you are not acquiring the level of talent, the level of strategy, or the level of consistency that you need to take your business to the next level. And in 2026, your internal state is going to be one of the strongest predictors of your conversion rate and your ability to book clients and get sales. So if you're in a state right now where you're like, hey, I don't want to be more innovative, I don't want to understand how the market is changing, you feel too overwhelmed with the changes happening in the world, you feel like there's no one out there that you can trust in your business, you feel like you're just confused, then you're going to bring all of that energy into 2026 into your business, and it's going to be complete chaos. So let me explain. I realized this when I started signing $55,000 per year contracts and bidding for contracts that were even higher than that. What I used to do in my business of doing a lot of social media marketing and showing up online actually changed this year. I've shown up less in the last 2 years, but made more in my business because my messages have been more focused. It's either I'm writing a blog for my own PR and for my own search engine optimization, or I'm doing a virtual speaking engagement in Australia or Dubai or Ghana or anywhere else on the earth, South Africa, or I'm working with high-level clients. And here's the thing about high-level clients, especially if you're some type of education consultant and you want to work with tech companies, ed tech companies. I'm not even a teacher and I work with ed tech companies. So if you're a teacher, it's going to be really, really simple for you if you have the right strategy and you understand how to get in contact with those clients, how to acquire them, and how to make content that attracts them. But here's the thing. The way that you attract these clients is so different than like being an influencer or just posting to get likes, because the content that attracts somebody that's ready to buy from you and pay top dollar is totally different than what the Instagram algorithm or Facebook or TikTok like to push in their feeds. See, these are interest media platforms where they just push what's trending, what looks good on Instagram, things of that nature. But what actually sells a high ticket buyer is completely different. A high ticket buyer wants to understand your process more than who you are, because a high ticket buyer is tied to this in an emotional way, but not in the way that you're thinking. They're not so much interested in you yourself, although it's good that they like you, that would be great, but they are committed and they're loyal and they become married to the process and the way that you run your business, the way that you get them the results that you get them. And so if you can notate a process like we have inside of Magnetic Emails, the 20 question framework, we use the same framework in Black Educators Amplified, the 20 question framework and the 3-on-3 emotions, to pinpoint those emotions and get that content out based off the emotions somebody feels before and after working with your brand. If you can come up with a process like that and articulate it, you move from somebody that seems like they're just a freelancer, just a consultant, to, oh, this person has a methodology. They have a process. They have a set of guidelines that they follow to get me the exact result that I need in a span of 3 to 6 months. This is why we have so many repeat clients in our business. Ever since 2020, repeat clients will come back and come back and come back. They're like, hey, I'm back. Hey, I'm back. Let's get this. Let's do this. And can you imagine if you had those type of repeat clients in your business that worked with you in 2021 and reach back out to you in 2025 and say, hey, let's work on another project. Hey, let's do another long-term project. I have something else, or I referred you to someone, or I have somebody I want you to meet. Let's get on Zoom. These are all of the things that can happen in your business and have happened in my business, but it does not happen just accidentally. It happens because it's a very cognizant decision. It's very much a decision like, hey, you have to make the decision. Do I want to be for everybody? Or do I want to be for this elite group in the market that has the revenue capabilities and the budget to pay me exceedingly well for what I do? And if you consent to that and you like that, then the next question becomes, okay, how do I speak to them in a language that they're going to understand, because they're not like the everyday buyer. They're not buying like a hair gel or a new water bottle that's gonna cost $12 on Amazon. Totally different marketing. Again, although I work with e-commerce brands sometimes, the bulk of my clients are high ticket luxe services. And this is the perfect business model for entrepreneurs because we process the world in depth. We hate small talk, totally despise it. We don't want to ask you what the weather's like. We don't want to just talk about nothing. We like to internalize more. We like to think deeply. We like to analyze. We feel more. And that also means we get overstimulated faster. And so for some course programs or business programs, you may see memberships and somebody has 2,000 members and you're like, I just don't have the brain power for 2,000 members, but I still want to run my business. I still want to evolve my business in 2026. And maybe you want to work with instead 5 clients during the year, 10 clients during the year that you're perfect fit clients. But your ability to attract them is going to be based on how you articulate your offers to them. Your sales page, your website, your social media copy. Can they find your process and read it to themselves somewhere publicly online? Hopefully they can do that in more than one instance online, on your website, on your blog, on your podcast, on your sales page, in your portfolio. They need all of these different mechanisms to help them make that buying decision because these are more discerning buyers. These aren't people that just buy off a whim. This is someone that'll get on a call and say, okay, let me sleep on it. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And then they'll sign the deal with you. Okay. Now, when your nervous system is dysregulated, your business will feel like confusion, avoidance, overthinking, inconsistency, constant pivots. I see this way too much in business, way too much. constant pivoting. And I always say, like, if a client comes to me and they are doing constant pivots, I probably will not work with them, because that tells me that their business is not stable and they're just like shooting things in the dark. They're not going by a data approach. And so if we did work together, it would definitely have to be in a more reconstructive, like, let's look at the data and make decisions that make sense from that standpoint. Again, this is where introverts shine, because we are very good at just wanting to get the result, wanting to get to the data, wanting to get to the outcome, instead of just being like a yes girl or a yes man that tells you, yeah, do whatever you want, even though it's not going to work, because all of your decisions in business need to be data-driven decisions, not emotion, not what you think, not what you saw online, but what actually works for your business. And if you're someone that's new in business, it's going to be easier for you, new under 5 years. It's going to be easier for you to make revenue with a high ticket offer than a low ticket offer. It's just reality. I've sold $120,000 packages, $55,000 packages, $9,000 packages, $20,000 packages. I've sold workshops that are $150, $250, but below that number, I've not really sold anything that's $10 or $5. My marketing just works better after all of these years for high ticket services. That's where people trust me. That's what people know me for. And so I continue on that path. Too many times I also see businesses that, especially in this weird transition right now where people are like, okay, we're going into 2026. I keep seeing people do low ticket stuff. I keep seeing people do a $7 program. Now, if you are a lawyer and you have been working with your clients and people typically put you on retainer and they pay you $1,500 a month, if you come up with a product that's $9, you're going to confuse and completely dismantle your audience. Hear me well. Do not copy what people do on Instagram unless they are in your industry and do what you want to be doing. Do not apply e-commerce tactics to a law firm, to a finance firm, to an education technology company, to a SaaS product, software as a service. Avoid doing that, because your audience is already primed to get high ticket services from you. And that marketing that you've put in over all of those years is going to reflect that. But if you then pop up and say, well, I have a lot of email subscribers now and I'm running ads and I'm doing this, so why don't I just sell a $5 product and then that'll help them buy? These are two different funnels you're running, okay? It's like the regular everyday low ticket funnel. Most people think of, okay, spend $10 and you can get them to buy 200 and get them to buy 3,000. That is not the best funnel for you. If you are a high ticket service provider and have been, your funnel is actually flipped. Your funnel is give them the higher amount first, they buy a bigger package, and then they keep coming back to you year after year for one-off projects or to extend the contract. That's the funnel that you're working with. They're two totally different ways of doing marketing. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I just don't know what to say anymore, this is not because you're not strategic, but it is because you are at capacity. You are overloaded. You probably have not worked with your mentor recently. You probably have not worked with a mentor at all that specializes in messaging, methodology, and copywriting, putting in email automations and systems and infrastructure to bring you sales for the next 5 years. Now, for introverts, strategy cannot override dysregulation. Unfortunately, dysregulation will always win. But let's talk about the shift, because the 2026 email marketing shift is not just hype, loudness, or pressure. People can feel your energy in your writing now. They can definitely feel it when they see you on screen. They can sense desperation if you're rushing, if you're panicked, if you're scared, if you're experiencing scarcity, if you have emotional overwhelm, or if you have mask off exhaustion, or if it just feels like super over performative, like it almost just feels fake, like you got a little bit too much glitz and glam, you got a little bit too much, it feels like they're coming to a theater. Like it feels like they're about to go see the Wizard of Oz. That's not the type of marketing and brand that you want to have. Authenticity is still more important than ever before. You want to debut confidence, calmness, clarity, grounded leadership, and emotional regulation. High income buyers, your ideal clients, subconsciously trust the latter. Now, I want to make a differentiation because with e-commerce, the rushing and the sales and the 40% off till 11:59 p.m. that works in e-commerce because these are not high ticket buyers. These people aren't spending tens and thousands of dollars. They're spending $20 or $50, and that's fine. It's easy to get $20 back, but when somebody's going to take out $10,000, they're going to think about it. When they're going to work with you for a year and spend $120,000, they're going to think about it deeper. But this is why introverts have the true advantage. We naturally write in depth and precision, and when our nervous system is supported, oh, it's a field day. It's a fantastic day. It's a revenue day. Now, let's talk about how dysregulation shows up in your content strategy and in your emails. You ramble, you over-explain, you use ChatGPT and those green check marks for all of your content. I can't tell you how many emails in my inboxes just look exactly the same, and I just cry and unsubscribe. I don't literally cry, but there's something in my brain that wants to cry because the creativity is gone. It's like you didn't even sit and plan this. You didn't think about this. This isn't true to you. And if you're like, okay, how do I tell a story that's true to me? Well, think about your everyday life. Get back to journaling. You can journal about your business. You can journal about the things going on in your life. You can journal about what's happening and bring those communications into your email marketing, your social media strategy, your content marketing, even your blogs. And then when your nervous system is overwhelmed, you avoid selling, you avoid disclaimers, you disappear for weeks and months at a time. You send one long email apology and then you ghost the people again, and they're like, is she gonna be back? Is she going to be communicating? They don't, they just forget about you. And then your competition can zoom in and swoop in and take your people that were actually there on your email list to hear from you. Or you write 7 drafts and you hate them all, and your CTA is weak, indirect, or buried. You may be writing things like buy now, click here, very boring calls to action that just should not be written at all, quite frankly. If you're not going to be creative with it, just pause and sit down and come up with your brand and creative guidelines. This is what I do for my clients. They will have an entire bank on Google Slides of different creative calls to action